where you just go for maybe an hour is very much then you high impact and then you relax. High impact and then you relax. Especially when you play football is then you sprint to the one end and you make yourself able to get the ball and then you can stand there and have a little bit of moment where you relax and then you have to go again. Welcome back to Fueling Your Life podcast. Today we are going to talk about how you can train for a specific sport. And it's fairly simple. So when we train for a specific sport, it's basically a workout that is designed to make us perform in that sport. And it also gives us the ability to perform on a high level without getting fatigue through the entire game. It helps us avoid injuries and become stronger and faster. These type of workouts is also called athlete workouts. And the goal of these kind of workouts is to improve your power and your speed. And power and speed comes for also being stronger, as you don't want to have a lot of muscle mass. You want to be able to explode with a lot of weight and be fast with a lot of speed. But then you also want to have a lot of muscle endurance, so you can keep exploding and have a lot of speed throughout the entire game and just keep going for a long time, because that's overall what makes you perform. And then you also have your overall endurance with your cardiovascular system, as you need the cardio for most sports, especially for football where you run a lot and so on. So there are specific type of exercises that we want to do. And the first one is plyometrics. We focus on being explosive, which means power and speed. And plyometric exercises are single leg box jumps, broad jumps, lateral raises, or lateral jumps to box jumps, knee jumps, and so on. Then you also have your basic movements, for example, bench press, deadlift, pull-ups, squats. And those you more used to, of course, build strength in the right muscles. You want to build the more muscle endurance, and then sometimes you also go down in these more isolated muscle groups. So, for example, that can be with a landmine where you push it up, where you basically have a barbell into the ground and then you can push it up, and it helps you also become more explosive. But you can also do cable exercises where you have to rotate your body, so you kind of have it as you are doing a swing in some way. It can also be you punching out, as you will give a punch if you're boxing, so you get that resistance and can increase your power and speed with your for your hits. Then you also have sprinting drills, or just some drills in general where you maybe use some tops, you use the ladder where you have to step and be fast on your feet. You do different sprinting variations, which can be yard sprints, where you first go out to, for example, 20 yards, then you go to 25 yards, 30 yards, 35, and then you go backwards. It can also be, for example, that you just run for 2 minutes as long as you can. That's round one. Round two, you run the same distance, and then you take a time, so you get a new time in round 2. Round 3, you run the distance you did in round 1 or greater on the time you did in round 2. And then from there on, you just add a new round. And that will really help also to increase your overall capacity and just keep going and going. Then you also have the Olympic movements like a snatch, where you are way more explosive and it's just about exploding up and power through the movement. And then you can also focus on more special muscle group that is kind of the opposite of what you will use in the sport, so you can avoid injuries. So for example, if you're playing football, so soccer for all the Americans, that will be, for example, your tip raises, your glutes and your hamstrings, as you usually just run forward, but at the moment you have to stop, then you will need a strong tip raises, glutes and hamstrings to be able to produce the force to stop. And they are also muscle groups that help you to jump higher, and especially like these is because we're usually not that strong in those muscles and we never use them that much. And by training them, you can avoid cramps and injuries, which is very common as a football player. So for the various sports, I will cover both football/soccer and basketball, for what type of exercises you can do. So in football, if you're of course looking to improve your jumping, your ability to jump high, then there's something as box jumps, single leg box jumps, or lateral to box jumps, plyometric exercises that can help you jump even higher. Then an important part is also sprinting drills, that you practice your sprinting, be able to sprint fast. Also, just if you set up with tops, that you first go diagonal, then you go diagonal into the middle again, and then you sprint forward. You practice your sprint where you first are back pedaling and then you turn around and go into a sprint, so you get all these twists and turns. And then you also have the side run with stop, where you're more focused on your footwork, which means that when you get down to turn, then you have to place your foot in the direction that you want to run. So if I'm going this way and this is my foot, then I go sideways, and then I have to go to this way. So then I stop with my foot or my toes pointing in that direction. And that's some small things that you can practice to be even better. And I also done a lot of also videos you can see, especially from recovery videos. When it's about more sprinting, then you will be able to see that I do it there. Then another thing is also to strengthen your glutes, hamstring and tip raises, as mentioned earlier, to avoid injuries and also to help you jump even higher. When it comes to basketball, it's primarily the same. You want to do box jump, single leg box jump, lateral jump to box jump, to improve your jumping and explosiveness in that direction. But then you also want to strengthen your glutes, hamstring and tip raises, as again it will help you avoid injuries and also jump even higher, as you can produce more force in your legs. So a common practice when you are training for sport is to hit workout to increase your endurance, your muscle endurance, as is a high intensity interval training. And what it basically means, and the way you train, is that you are 30 to 60 seconds on, and then you rest for 30 to 60 seconds. And in this way, you constantly get this where you have to be on, then you have to pause, on, pause. As most sports is not just linear, where you just go, 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 go for maybe an hour. It's very much then you high impact and then you relax. High impact and then you relax. Especially when you play football is then you sprint to the one end and you make yourself able to get the ball, and then you can stand there and have a little bit of a moment where you relax, and then you have to go again. And the same, for example, also with basketball, you first you go to one end, you play the ball around, and you quickly have to get back. The same if you play handball, then you defend, you are standing more still, and then all of a sudden you get the ball, and then you have to sprint to get the ball and score. So usually you will you will have a couple of exercises, maybe 5 exercises that you do in a circle, but all exercise variants are low to moderate intensity, as you had to be on for a long period of time. And as you get better, you can both increase the time a little bit, but you can also make the exercise more difficult so it becomes harder. And this is a good way to get your heartbeat up, get out of breath, and build your endurance. And usually when you do these type of trainings where it's on time instead of on reps, you all of a sudden find out how fucking long just 30 seconds or a minute can be, that you're just constantly under this tension from the exercises. And that's also something I do at the moment to increase my muscle endurance in my right shoulder after my injury, is that I do half the week with reps and then the other half on time. So right now I'm doing 45 minutes. Next week is going to be 45 seconds. Next week is going to be 50 seconds. And with that, that basically means that I have to go even more, and it's getting very hard because you cannot just rip out a lot of reps right away. And I usually do that, and it will just exhaust you, and then you will find out you only halfway in. So it was 1 minute, then I was maybe 30 seconds in, and then it becomes so tough to do the last 30 seconds. So it's about finding this pace that you can just keep going for the whole time out. And it takes some time to do, especially for me, because I used to only do reps. So it's also got even harder, but also it was hard mentally that you have to get used to find this consistent rhythm and pace that you are able to do it in. So that was everything for today podcast. Like and comment what you think. See you in the next one. Coach Jesper out.